Well, as far as our culture and the way I read it, my understanding of it is, the feeling is that the higher levels of it all, we have what you might call the priest, the high priest, who doesn't engage in sex. And next in line would be, say, the common folk that engage in sex, but only for the purpose of creating children or babies. And then the lower end of the hierarchy would be those who would engage in sex for pleasure. In other words, that part of it. As far as I'm concerned also, it seems to me that in all of us, we have all of that, some of all of that. For instance, there's a part of me that...
But what we are wanting you to understand about that is that those ideas come from lack. Those ideas come from man believing in his unworthiness. In other words, believing that he is here to struggle and to prove himself worthy of something else. What we are wanting you to hear from us is that your physical life experience is a life of sensuality. In other words, you come forth into this physical realm with the sensual eyes to see with, and the sensual ears to hear with, and the sensual nose to smell with, and the sensual skin to feel with, and the sensual tongue to taste with. Everything about your physical experience is sensual. And it is only in this physical environment that you have that keen sense of sensuality, you see. And all of that is for the enhancement of your physical experience. All that there is to have and all that there is to do is all for the enhancement of your beingness, you see. And that is why we keep hammering away at the idea that rather than taking action out here on the peripheral and trying to figure out your harmony there, if you will come inward and identify how you are wanting to feel first and letting all of the other extend outward from that, then you will always be in balance. We are not able to pinpoint the turning point where physical man stopped believing in his value and in his worthiness. It is our knowing that it was a rather long transitional thing as one felt critical of himself or others and fostered it in the others. But this feeling of unworthiness is running rampant upon your planet. And so much that you do comes from that very severe place of lack. And we could liken the non-physical realm from which you have emerged as like a very broad spectrum of light. And when you take a broad spectrum of light and you make it very pointed and very specific, it is very powerful, such as in your laser or in even a magnifying glass. And that is what your physical life experience brings to all that is. It is a very pointed experience where you can take the broadness of your knowing and funnel it or focus it very specifically into this time and this place. And as you do that, as you live here in these physical bodies, you are literally adding unto all that is. Friends, it is our absolute promise to you that if you have identified that what you want to do is that which is uplifting, that what you want to be is that which is joyful and that which is loving and that which is godlike, as you identify that that is what you are wanting to be and that which you are wanting to radiate, it is our absolute promise to you that you will never be able to take action that is contrary to that without feeling very strong negative emotion within you. Some would say to us, Abraham, then the feeling of guilt that I have, that must mean that I'm doing something evil. And what we're wanting you to understand is that the feeling of guilt is negative emotion. And what negative emotion means is that that which you are wanting and that which you are believing is not in harmony. In this case, you are wanting to be that which is uplifting. You are wanting to be that which is good. And you have this desire for some sort of sexual encounter. But your belief tells you that the sexual encounter that you are engaging in will put you in a place where you are not good. And so what we are wanting you to understand is that it does not mean that you are not good. It means that somewhere along the line you have picked up pieces of information that do not fit together. And that is what you were talking about, worrying about what others are thinking about it. Usually, by the time you've spent a few years in your body, 50 or 60 or 70, you come to the very great awareness that you cannot please them all. In fact, you usually come to the awareness that you can't please very many of them because all of them are wanting something different from you. what we are emphasizing here is that you may trust your inner guidance. In fact, we encourage that that is the only thing that you really can trust, because it is only you who knows the current intentions that you hold. It is only you that understands the set of beliefs that you currently hold. And it is only you who has access to your broader guidance, which brings all of that together, you see.
So as I was, the direction I was moving earlier, in other words, if we kind of narrow this down, each of us have, I feel, all of this within us, this innate urge to procreate, and this innate desire to enjoy the sensuality and the feel of things, and also this wanting to create in thought also. But that's ourselves. But then sexuality is a co-creation. In other words, it's two people. But then what happens is the two people, the individuals, are changing as they're moving through time. And so we have, I think the conflict in many people is, so how can I coordinate my wants with the wanting of my mate, since both of us are changing?
We are appreciating your acknowledgement that the sexual experience is co-creating. You see, you have emerged into this physical environment with many others because you know the joy of co-creating. As you are offering thoughts, your thoughts are magnetic, and those thoughts attract other thoughts. But when two minds come together that are in harmony upon one topic, those two minds equal much more than 1 + 1. And in like manner, when two physical beings come together that are harmonious in thought and desire, then the physical experience can be extraordinary, much more satisfying than that which would be experienced if there were but one.